Good morning, y'all. RaJuR, Real Deep Cool, coming at you, not with a fragrance review, not with anything particular, except information about me. I thought about this last night and I said, you know what? I've been breaking rules in this business, even though I'm not really known. I'm not a real known guy, except for maybe in Philly a little bit. But I've been breaking rules in music for so long that, you know, I'm probably not going to consider this being a rule-breaking situation, but it makes sense. It makes sense to not always have to be bound by rules. And the way I'm going to show you this, well, not show you this, you already know how to do this, which is basically you can do your bio like this. Why did that I have to give someone a bio? Why do I have to tell you everything about me in paper form? Why do we always have to adhere to all these rules? There's always rules. There's no rules in music. There's no rules in life except to do the best you can do, to be the best human being you can be towards people and never one another. That's a rule. Outside of that, there are no rules. We've been bound by rules in the music industry for so long, it's pathetic. So now, aside from me always doing my own CDs, because I've always had my own recording studio, I never went to get anything mastered. I never done none of that. I'm not paying on these people to get my product done. When you can do it yourself with just a little application, a little bit of reading, ear, of course, and you know how you want your song to sound, regardless of whether you're being produced by somebody else or whatever, then look, you can cut out all that stuff and do everything yourself. Not on the laptop now. You do have to be a little bit more intricate. But I'm just saying, today I want to do this semi-bio, semi-whatever about me, RaJuR, because now it's Grammy time, 2015. I'm going to try to get a nomination this year. Last year we didn't get a nomination with Real Deep Cool, which I really thought was a pretty good piece of work. But we didn't get that, so this year we're coming back with a double CD, tracks from the Library of Flow, 2 CD set, okay? One CD is the Select Collection, which is a combination of songs put together as a collection that I selected and some other people selected from CDs I've done over the years. Next, we have the Backlash, which is a lot of instrumentals, which is what you're listening to now, of songs that I never put out. But they've just been sitting there. Why should I just let them sit there when this is a good opportunity this year, I felt, to bring these songs out and let people enjoy them? I've had so many people say, why can't I just listen to instrumentals? I don't need to have a melody. I don't need to have anybody singing. I've heard that so many times, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to step out of the industry norm and do something outside the industry norm, because there are no rules. The rules are what you do for your thing and how you do it, okay? Now, with that being said, let's start talking about me, all right? My name is RaJuR. I'm not going to give you my full name, but we just go by RaJuR. I go by the moniker RaJuR Real Deep Cool in some instances as well. And I use that because I think it's more defining of me. I try to keep it real. Sometimes they call me a deep brother, and I definitely feel like I'm cool. So that's how I kicked that off, and RaJuR was a name that I came up with as a stage name because I think I mentioned this before. If I haven't, that's what this is for. Roger Troutman, one of the other great musicians who played all the instruments themselves as well, just like I do, playing all the instruments, guitar, bass, drum, keys, and whatever else I can get my hands on, percussions, you know what I mean, tambourine, viber slap, I do that too, you know what I'm saying? But he did the same thing, but he spelled his name RoGer. Just to avoid any conflict with trademarks and copyrights, I decided just to respell my name. RaJuR is actually my middle name, and I decided to respell it in a different way and use that as my stage name. And that's how we came up with RaJuR. And then, like I said, later on last year, we came up with the Real Deep Cool, which was the title of last year's CD. I decided to stick it to my name, and now it's part of my name, RaJuR Real Deep Cool. All right, now, let me see. I'm gonna try to do this quick because actually I'm dressed for work. I'm going to work because I am a working man. I'm a working musician, producer. I own my own company. I'm a COO of my own company. I'm a mixer. I'm an engineer. I bought all my equipment. I know about my equipment. Come on, man. That's what I do. I've been doing this since 13. Actually, I wanted to play guitar even younger than that. But what had happened was we went to New York with my uncle to pay a visit to family, and he took me over to someone's house in Queens, I think it was. And it was this guy who was playing guitar, because I told him I wanted to play guitar. He was like, well, I'm going to take you over here. Long time ago, rest his soul, my mother's brother. And he took me over there, and the guy was playing guitar. And it reminded me how remember how Ray started off, where, you know, the young buck went over there, and the guy was telling him how to play the piano. The same thing happened to me with guitar long time ago. We're going to say 40 years ago. Yes, I'm telling my age. That's what it is, though. 40 years ago in New York is when I decided that I really wanted to play this thing right here. A git fiddle. All right? After that, you know, I was still doing stuff in school before that. I was singing in the Glee Club, and my mom had me playing recorder. I used to play them little wood thing called recorders when I was in elementary school. So I always had a penchant for music. No one in my family ever played an instrument. My mother never played an instrument, father, uncle, no one ever played an instrument. I'm the only one in my family that plays an instrument. And it was just something I grabbed hold to. So I decided to do that. Besides, you know, doing well in school, getting A's in school all the time, whatever, you know, music is what really fueled me. And that's what happened. So throughout the years as I went along, you know, playing with all the guys, one Christmas, everybody got an instrument on our block in North Philly. And we put together like 3 bands, and a couple guys around the corner, they had bands. So everybody had instruments. We had like 4 or 5 instruments, 4 or 5 bands in that area. But there was a lot of live bands back there in the 70s that everybody had played. You know, we had Brutus, Rated X, Breakwater. You know, we had a lot of groups, you know, but we're just little guys just trying to learn how to play. And that's how we came up, playing on the porch. We'd bring our instruments out on the porch, and we'd battle each other, you know, we go watch other people play. Oh, we had a great time, and that's what kept me in music. Academically, I was still very good academically in school, so good that I really didn't even do 8th grade because I was kind of doing well, so I ended up going to Central. And this is where I run into forks in the road in my life when it came to music, because Central was one of the best high schools in Philadelphia. I think still is, but back in the 70s, it was definitely one of the best high schools in Philadelphia, along with Girls High. And I had the opportunity to go there. But my penchant for music, and it didn't have no girls there either, and I was really shy. I didn't like going up to Girls High and waiting for the girls to come out. But anyway, it was just music that really, man, I was hooky in school. Man, I rarely went to school, and Pop did not like it. Neither one of my parents, like, my mother was loving. My mother never struck me, never hit me, never cussed at me, didn't cuss, no profanity from her. My dad was the guy, you know what I mean? He was the roughneck. And he didn't like the fact that, after a while, I left Central. I left Central to go to Franklin Learning Center. Actually, they punished me first. And people who are in Philly know how this goes when I mention these schools. They put me out of Central, sent me to Gillespie, I don't know why, for 9th grade, which is, I didn't even go to class at Gillespie because, you know, I was in Central. So Gillespie was teaching me stuff I didn't do in 8th grade, I did in 7th because I didn't do anything in 8th grade. So really, I just went to Gillespie just as a transition to go to the next high school, which was Gratz, because I couldn't get right into Gratz right then. So they punished me and sent me to Gillespie. When I was in Gillespie, I met these guys that was into some other music. I mean, you know, I was playing R&B when we was playing in groups as I was coming up. I was playing R&B, we was playing in bars and everything. You know, the Chicken Coop, people may know down in Philly, the Chicken Coop, Broad Necks on Allegheny Avenue. But when I met these guys, man, they was in the John McLaughlin, Return Forever, Brand X, Michael the Rider Walden, Stanley Clark, Billy Cobham. They was into that. And when I ran into that, it was over. I ain't want to hear any more R&B. R&B did nothing for me anymore. R&B was boring. I had nothing to do. I didn't want anything to do with R&B. All I wanted to do was get John McLaughlin, Al Di Meola up on my fingers. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do that. So that's when I got with them brothers. And I left Central and, you know, Gillespie. We ended up going to Franklin Learning Center. And Franklin Learning Center, we was treated like stars. I graduated from there in 1979. And, you know, all we did, well, not all we did, but we went to school and we would follow the drama troupe around. So we were like, you know, it was a music school, but it was also an academic school as well. But we went there mainly for performing arts, because it wasn't like the Philly School for Performing Arts, but it was a performing arts school. And we had that. We had drama classes. We had all. By the way, let me throw this on real quick. By RaJuR, 1996, one of my favorites. Juniper berries and some patchouli. Smells like paper when you first put it on. But the leather and the juniper berries in this thing, this is one of my favorite leathers. All right, now we out of that. By the way, y'all know I do that too. I'm a fragrance reviewer on YouTube, RaJuR Real Deep Cool. I review fragrances. I'm a collector. All right, now, continue. So, when we was in school and we was doing the drama shoot thing, it was time to leave, you know what I mean? Like I said, I left my boys. I went to the Navy. When I went to the Navy in 1979, which as soon as I got out of school, my pop said, you're going to be coming in my house anytime you wanted to. I said, don't even worry about it. September, got out of school in June. September, I was in the U.S. Navy over in Lemoore, California. Shout out to VA 146 Blue Diamonds. Holla at your boy, Lemoore, Cali. USS Constellation CV-64. So I dropped off into that, and I wasn't really ready to play music. I had my little girlfriend. I was trying to still catch up with my first love, and her name was Christine. Can't do any last names. And I left. So with that being in mind, I couldn't really do any music in boot camp and all that stuff. But when I came out of boot camp, came back home real quick, went back to Cali, never came back home after that for 3 years, I had to do something. So I bought me a guitar, I bought me a G&L, beautiful guitar. I think it was a G2000 or something, I guess. It was a beautiful G&L I bought. Then I bought me a double cassette deck. I bought me a bass. I bought me a DR550 rolling drum machine. And I start making music right there. And the guys didn't understand what I was doing, but I was bouncing tracks. I didn't have a 4-track at that time, but this is how I started out with 2 cassette decks. Record, bounce that over, do that cassette deck, add another part, and that's what I was doing. I was bouncing cassettes back and forth, making music until I could buy a 4-track. And that's how I started making music. And I made this CD. Some people, if you go to my page, you might see it. I post it from time to time, and I call myself Willie Holloman. Or they used to call me Willie Diaz. And it was called, what was the name of the CD? It was like a CD cover I made, Secret Thoughts. It was like 4 or 5 songs I made with the 4-track when I got the 4-track with guitar, bass. I bought a little keyboard. I think it was a Casio keyboard. And like I said, the drum machine, the DR550 by Roland. And I had made my first little CD. And I really, really liked doing music at the time, and I just realized that I was better off being by myself instead of playing with people, because I'm just that kind of guy. I'm a selfish dude. Unfortunately, I am. And though I could play with guys as long as we were playing other people's music, when it came to playing original music, I just felt that I had the better ideas. I had what it took. You know what I mean? I was a multi-instrumentalist at that time at 18. And just to flip back to that, how I became a multi-instrumentalist, we used to practice at my house. And when people used to leave the instruments on my house, I would get home and play. So if it was a bass, I'd go to bass, know how to play bass. And start out playing guitar, it's easy to play bass because you're doing single notes as opposed to chords. So it's easy to play bass, and learn a couple bass lines. I learned how to pop a little bit and doing that. And then I picked up the keyboard. My man Lonnie showed me Summer Madness. And I love them chords, man. It was a B minor 7 or something to a, I don't know what it was, but those are my favorite chords. And if you listen to most of my songs, way back in the day, I used them chords a lot. I would just transpose it up in the computer. But those are chords I like to use. And I'm not really a keyboard player per se. I'm a keyboard player when it comes to making my songs. But if you want me to play somebody else's stuff, don't even worry about it. It ain't happening. I can do that better on bass and guitar. But when it comes to keyboards, I'm a composer on keyboards. I'm a composer. I can get around. I can do lines. I can do that stuff. I can do decent beds. But it's about my music, so I don't have to worry about playing any other music. I don't follow rules. I don't care what chord goes with this. I don't care about A minor coming after an E major 7. I don't care. If it sounds right to me, that's what I'm doing, and that's how I started doing my music. No rules. And my music back in the day, I used to give my little CDs out to people, Philly International, and whoever else in Philly, and they're like, well, where's the hook? Where's the hook? And that's because everything that did the same all the way through. And it was like, where's the hook? Well, I always had an indication of the hook because I would just put a string line or something to indicate the hook. But they were like, well, there's no hook, there's no hook. Well, it's instrumental music. You hear the hook when the string line comes in, you know it's the hook. And they was talking about it on a string line. Years later, here we go doing the same music over and over, repetitive with a break. And it was ridiculous, man, but that was cool. So I was turned down by a lot and whatever. Then I got with, a lot of people. And then I hooked up with another couple brothers. We tried to put a little company together called Bright Eyes Production, and really good guys, Stan and Wendell. And we tried to do some things, and we tried to submit stuff. But again, I don't want to say I want to dominate the whole thing, because Stan was a very good player as well. But Stan used a lot of short 13ths, flat 9ths, minor 5ths. He did a lot of that. But that was his music. That was his style. That's what he liked to do. I didn't like that. I really like to keep it simple, but I relied on the beat. For me, it's always the beat. So a lot of times when I record, I start off with my MPC 2000 to make my beat, because I feel the beat first and then I make the music. So anyway, around 1998, I decided, man, I'm going to try to put out a CD, which I did, which I can turn you all around to the picture, but it's called Mosaics. And I put this CD out. I did it all by myself. I bought me an electronic drum kit. I'm looking at the pad on the picture now. I think it's a PD something, or SPD, maybe it's a pad 1, rolling pad 1. And then I bought some extra pads for the hi-hat and the snare. And I used those for my tom-toms. And I bought some electronic cymbals. And I played guitar, I played keys, I played bass, I played everything on that. And that was my first CD I ever did in 1998. And the Daily News reviewed it. Al Hunter liked it. And he called me, I forgot who he called me. But it was a guy who played all instruments too. He was a jazz guy. But it really wasn't a jazz CD for me. It was just a CD. And in saying that, I don't classify my music as being jazz or this or that. I classify my music as being music. In fact, I just want my music to be called RaJuR. I wish they had a category for RaJuR. Because people want to make music and be outside the boundaries of people telling them what their music has to be. It has to be jazz, it has to be alternative. No, it doesn't. Because the music is so intricate from some people, not just electronic stuff going on and EDM and all that stuff. We're talking people who are really creative, and not really a jazz pocket, because jazz is becoming predictable too. Me being a musician, I already know, if I listen to a jazz, I already know where it's going most of the time. There's something that throw me off sometimes. If they on that Brand X tip, you know what I mean? Like I was listening to back in the day, Brand X, John McLaughlin, Hells Bells, messing with Bill Bruford. Those type of, I don't know what to expect when I'm first listening from that. But if I turn to a jazz station, I listen to head up, straight up jazz, I know where it's going already. If I listen to this vanilla jazz, I call it vanilla jazz, the elevator jazz, I know where it's going. I know where Kenny G and all them guys going. I know where they're going. They're doing the same thing. They use it. I call that new jazz, the elevator jazz, I call that the Casio drum machine with guys playing over top of it. Because that's what it sounds like to me. They probably had some young boy make them a beat. They paid them for the beat, and then they played on top of it. Or they got one of them recordings from a Yamaha machine, and they hit play and just played over top of it. Because that's what it sounds like to me. I don't hear any creativity at all in the elevated jazz, per se, smooth jazz. I decided to come up with my own music, with my own style, breaking any rule I want to break. I want to do it the way I want to do it. And that's me. That's RaJuR Real Deep Cool. That's how I make my music. So let's go quickly through the chronology of my music. 1998, I made Mosaics. 2001, I made All in the Mind. 2005, I did Official. 2009, I did The Obvious. 2013, I came out with Real Deep Cool. And now 2014, we have Tracks from the Library of Flow. And, I never cared to be signed with anybody. I never hustled to be signed by anybody. I never sent in demos to be signed by Columbia or Blue Note. I don't want to be controlled by anybody. I want nobody to tell me when I got to put an album out. I want nobody to tell me what producer I got to work with. I don't care how many Grammys you got. Because, the reality of it is, somebody put an album out, you might just get 2 songs on the album. The rest of this trash. Or fillers. I ain't going to say trash. The rest are fillers. You know what I mean? You may have a great album that come out that has like 4 or 5 pieces that everybody likes. But for the most part, what happens after the first 2 make it? You gotta pay for the studio time for the other 7. That's why you're getting 10. You're only getting 10 pieces on the album. Nobody putting up all that money for production unless you got it like that. Hip hop can do that. You know what I mean? Because they got it there. Most of the guys got their own studio and they going up there. You know how that is. It's hip hop. I'm not a hip hop guy. I'm a music guy. So I decided to invest in some of the best equipment I had. To invest in, clocks, Apogee clocks, lovely preamps, and this is just minuscule in my studio I used to have. This is because I relocated. I don't need as much as I used to. Man, I used to have every preamp. I had lunch boxes. I've had them all. I had the lunchbox filled with stuff. You know what I mean? And I can't even remember them now, but purple stuff, Neve stuff. There was so much stuff I was putting in my lunchbox, some little models, lunchbox that people don't know about them. And yeah, so I had all the best. I've had Avalon, I've had Neve Pre's. I had Neve Pre's that people didn't even have. I had the digital Neve Pre. I've had Tube Tech. I've had all that stuff. I've had all this stuff. I know about equipment. I've learned all this stuff. People say, well, how you learn all this stuff by yourself? Because I wanted to. I learned about total harmonic distortion. I learned about digital. I learned how to clock my studio. I learned all that by myself. And if you listen to my CDs, I recorded all my CDs myself in my place. Did I master them? I ain't mastered anything. I might have touched them up. However they came out, call it master, call what you want. It don't matter. Let me tell you two things real quick. You don't need a vocal booth. So why with Boys and Men, they ain't have a vocal booth in their studio. They had a big freaking gymnasium downstairs that they put a blanket up and they just sung in front of the blanket. You don't need a vocal booth. Secondly, you can get a deal with a 4-track. Ask Sheryl Crow. Got a deal with a 4-track recording because it's about the song. It's not about the quality of the song when you first present the song. It's about the song. Now, if you can take it to another level by yourself and buy good equipment and make sure it's sounding sonically correct and whatever, or you may need to go to a master. If you want to go to a master lab, go ahead and do that. If you got money to do that, do that. But if you learn yourself, you know how to do it with mastering plugins, which I don't use plugins. But however, you can make a good song by Twiddly Dean it in your mouth. All right, Bobby McFerrin, Twiddly D songs. He didn't go to a studio. I'm sure he had a hot Neumann, or a good mic, or a blue, I'm a blue guy because of mics. Anyway, by me rattling off all that stuff, I'm letting you know over the years what I've done, my CDs, my equipment, fragrance reviews. 2015, I'm trying to get a Grammy nomination. Check me out online. You can check me out at www.hollomedia, HOLLOMEDIA.com. I just put up my new site I'm working on this week, www.RaJuR, RAJUR.net. I hurry up, get ready to go to work, y'all. I'm running late. And then, what else do I have? I got my reel on Facebook. You can find me on the RaJuR Holloman, RODGERHOLLOWMAN. And that's my main page, and then I have my other page, a spin-off on Facebook, a RaJuR page, a Hollow Media, and a Rock the House Studios, which is what my studio is called, Rock the House Studios. I'm a member of BMI as a writer. I'm also a member of BMI as a publisher. And my publishing company is Marmar Publishing. It's after my nephew, Marcus, so I named it Marmar. And I also have an entertainment label that I haven't, a trademark yet called Ma and Pa Productions, and that's for my mother and father who's resting, all right, and looking down on me and hopefully guiding me and helping me make the right decisions in this. But again, for me, y'all, it's not about the money. I'm a working man. I work for SEPTA. I've been working for SEPTA for 26 and a half years. I drove bus, I drove trolley, and now I drive subway trains. I move them around the yard, and I drove L. I've driven a lot. And over 26 years, I've still been with my job. I'm a loyal guy. I stay at my job as best I can. As long as they're keeping me, as long as I'm doing my job, I'm still there. So that's me, that's RaJuR. That's my bio. That's my life's bio, okay? So I hope y'all dig it. Hope y'all check me out. Hope y'all vote for me for the Grammy 2015. Grammy. And just a nomination. I'm not looking for $1 million. Like I said, I don't need that money. All I need is somebody to appreciate the music I do. That's all I want. You know what I mean? And don't forget again, I'm a fragrance reviewer. I'm a fragrance collector. If you want to know about fragrances, let's check out my channel. And you can check me out, RaJuR, Real Deep Cool, fragrance reviewer. I gotta go. I gotta turn off all this stuff. I gotta be working 8:30. It's 7:41. I gotta get ready to bounce. Nice talking to y'all, man. Y'all be good. Remember, deuces are out. Stand apart from everybody else. Make yourself an individual. Don't follow the crowd. I never follow the crowd. I never will. Follow yourself. Follow your heart. Follow your spirit. I'm out. Gotta go. Hit that button, Raj. You know how you do it with the fragrance reviews? Like you try to find the button because it's right.